What's going on, everyone? It's time for another show review. Today we're going to talk about, well, I went to another metal show last night, so yeah, I went to Dethklok with babymetal and Jason Richardson, who opened, so at Echo Beach in Toronto. It was September 18th, 2023, so yeah, let's talk about it. Well, Echo Beach is like an outdoor festival stage, which by the end of September they close it down, so every year. But yeah, so it's like it's an interesting venue because it's basically like the halfway point between like if they sell more than 5,000 tickets, you can't really have it at History or Rebel. But then the next size up is like a 15,000 seat amphitheater or the 17 or 18,000 capacity arena. And then there's the Rogers Center that holds like 30,000 people. So it's a good like buffer. But and then in the winter they usually use Rico Coliseum for shows like this size. But so it has quite the capacity. Now this wasn't a sold out show, but it was sold quite a bit. Let's just say, it wasn't like half sold or anything like that. There's still like quite a few people there. I think it was like 6,000, even though it could hold like 7 or something like that. So yeah, it's there's still a pretty packed show. So the first artist was the guitarist Jason Richardson. Now, if you're a metalhead like I am, you definitely know who he's from. But for some of the old timers out there and some of the newer people, or someone who's not really familiar with the metal scene, Jason Richardson is the guitarist of a band called All That Remains. He's he's the current guitarist since their other original one died. But yeah, and then but he also played in bands like Chelsea Grin, Born of Osiris, and he also first found his calling playing guitar in All Shall Perish. So yeah, and then obviously he has a solo career now, and he's worked with a lot of good bands like Periphery and Polyphia and all those other bands. A lot of bands in like the gent metalcore type genre. So yeah, if you're into those type of things, you'll definitely like his style. He's a really good guitar player and talented. He didn't really have a backing band or anything like that. It was just him. So that was interesting to see, because usually like when I saw Generation X tour a couple years ago, all the guitars had they had a backing band playing with them. So it felt more like a live rock show. This one was, he basically had all the tracks recorded except for the guitar parts. So you'd be listening to basically a Spotify instrumental version of a song that he did just without the guitar parts in it, which is a little odd, but sometimes you have to do that when you're small. And money's, especially nowadays, money's tight for bands. So I'm not surprised that this is the route he had to take. But yeah, overall, his guitar playing skills are really good. He has some really good sweeps and chops and everything like that. But yeah, the big one complaint. Now, this might be just where I was standing and watching him, but the musical, like the track that he was playing, his backing track, basically, for it was way louder than his actual guitar. Now, he had some pretty sick looking guitars and stuff, and yeah, he could definitely tell he's endorsed and everything like that. And it's very jazz influenced. A lot of the newer stuff, like the genty stuff, is heavily jazz. Even technical death metal is jazz influenced, heavily jazz influenced, like guitar playing. So yeah, so it kind of sounds similar to like some of the other stuff, but yeah, overall I thought he was he's a decent guitar player, no questions asked. But solo wise, I wasn't really into it. So yeah, I thought he was okay. He did like move around and stuff like that, and he had an interesting little light show thing going on in the back. And yeah, overall he was amusing. He had some pretty heavy stuff, but I think like the backing track overpowered it. They turned that down, and then he could really show his talents and shine that way. I think that would have been a little bit better, but it could just be this show too. Right? So overall, I'm going to give them a 2.5 out of 5. Next up was babymetal. This is my first time ever seeing them. To be honest, when babymetal first hit the state, like streaming and everything like that, I was not into them. I did not care for babymetal whatsoever. I thought they were a joke. And then I listened to the Metal Galaxy album and got hooked. So I'm more of like the newer stuff, like Papa Yao's obviously a catchy, amusing song. And Joe, my friend's nuts with that. And yeah, and there's a lot of good stuff that they've done. Live wise, they're pretty heavy and pretty good. They have a cool like intro and outro that like piece the whole set together, which was pretty neat. It's like a starting, middle, and end, sort of like a film. And yeah, and overall, I thought it was pretty good. Now I know they're one backing vocalist left, so they had two backup dancers and then the lead vocalist. So it was really weird because like if you're not sure what babymetal is, they're from Japan. It's like K-pop mixed with metal, so which is interesting enough. And yeah, the backing band was really good and really had some really good talents and some great guitar playing and everything like that. The vocalist was pretty good. You could tell she's not used to doing some of the screams and some of the more trickier vocal parts that the backup vocals used to do. Also, there's one song where it has like a little bit of a pig squeal in it, and they just skipped over it, which kind of threw the song off and stuff. There's little things like that, but I also absolutely do not want to be one of the backing dancers trying to remember all the choreography to the dancing to those metal songs. That was ridiculous. But overall, they were entertaining. They were talented. It's something completely different that we don't see in North America very much. So overall, I thought they were pretty entertaining. And overall, they're a pretty decent band. Their newer stuff sounds pretty interesting. They have a tongue-in-cheek approach to like the songwriting and the visuals that were on the screen behind them and stuff. And overall, it suited the show well. So I'm going to give them a 4 out of 5. And finally, Dethklok came in. Now, this is my first time actually seeing Dethklok. Dethklok hasn't really been around for like 8 years or so. I'm pretty sure the last tour they went on was like in North America was like with As I Lay Dying and the Black Dahlia murder. But yeah. So same with Dethklok. I love Metalocalypse, but I didn't really care for the band Dethklok. And obviously, I love like Gene Hoglan or whatever his last name is on drums. He's if you're not sure who he is, he's the he played drums in Testament, he played drums in my all-time favorite band Fear Factory, he's played drums in Dark Angel, and yeah, so I've seen that like all those bands. This is the only one of his bands I have. Oh yeah, and Strapping Young Lad, which I haven't seen yet. But yeah, Dethklok. So if you're not familiar with the Dethklok's the name of a death metal band in the show Metalocalypse, where there's always demons and zombies and stuff like that, and a clown addicted to cocaine trying to take over the world and stuff like that. It's a good. So they basically take the show and tie it into their their live set, and yeah, they're really entertaining guys. They're a pretty stationary band though, but they let the cartoons in the background do the talking, and all the visual representation of the band is up on the visuals behind them. And yeah, it's really fun. They write some really funny lyrics to these death metalish songs, and it's crazy how big they are. They're like the biggest like death metal band out there, I think, like next to like the classic ones like Morbid Angel, Cannibal Corpse. These guys play on another level because it's more acceptable for the mainstream if you put your music in a cartoon for some reason. But yeah, they do have a lot of good humor. They played all their classics and a lot of their new stuff. Their new stuff actually sounds pretty decent too. And overall, it's really fun and a really good headbanging time. But yeah, they don't really take breaks in between. It's basically they chug through a quarter of the set or even like half the set, and then they stop and adjust the crowd, where the vocalist actually does the voice of all the characters, so he does all the characters' voices and stuff, which is really amusing. And then yeah, and then they go, and then before the last like 2 or 3 songs, they close off. They also adjust the crowd after that. But yeah, they do have some funny little comedic like sketches so they can take a water break and stuff on the screen, which is amusing, like concert etiquette. And yeah, if you smoke weed, be careful when you do other shows. Some of the drug references, clearly some of them probably never smoked weed before, because I'm pretty sure I've never had those experiences smoking weed. But yeah, but overall, they're really entertaining. They're really surprised. I wasn't into them, and I think I'm a fan now. So I'm going to give them a 4 out of 5 as well. If they put a little more movement into it, maybe put more entertaining in it. I know they wanted to fit as much music as they can in, but they put like a couple more comedic bits in it. I think it would have made it even better. So yeah, but overall, the show was really fun. It was better than I was expecting it to be because I was only familiar with one babymetal album going in, and now it's just like, yeah, that was actually a lot of fun. A lot, really diverse crowd. Met some cool people, ran into some old friends, and overall, it was a good experience and a lot of fun. So yeah, but that's what I thought of the Baby Clock Tour. That's what they've been calling it. So yeah, I mean, the whole show, I'd probably give it a 4 out of 5. So, yeah, a lot of fun. But yeah, if you want to check out some of the bands I've been talking about, they sound like something you're interested in. I'll link them all down below so you can check them out. Also, make sure you check out my Instagram and my Instagram and TikTok down below. That's where I have a lot of pictures and videos of the show. So, and for other shows and stuff like that. So make sure you check them out there and follow me on there. And also, don't forget to support the music you like. Buy the merch, buy the music, go see them live, support the artists, and yeah, because to me, there's nothing better than live music. So yeah, but definitely check them out. And yeah, the next show I'm going to is actually tonight at Scotiabank Arena in Toronto. This is gonna be way different than the one I just talked about, but I'm gonna go see Duran Duran with Neil Rogers and Chick and Bastille. So a couple family members wanted me to go see them, so got a ticket. So let's go see them tonight. If you're around there for some reason, come say hi. If you run into me at a show, let me know what you think of the reviews. And I guess yeah, that's it for this one. More reviews are coming soon, so make sure you subscribe and ring that bell. So, but till the next one, rock on.